All right, everyone. So we're not getting $80 games from EA, at least for now. This is from IGN. The article is titled EA CEO says no $80 games for now. We are not looking to make any changes at this stage. As Nintendo takes the first step toward selling full price AAA games at $80 and Xbox starts to follow suit but backs off, EA now has also made its position clear: no $80 games for now. We're not looking to make any changes at pricing at this stage, said CEO Andrew Wilson today during Q1 earnings call. He said in this release to an investor question regarding publishing competitors beginning to release $80 games and where EA sees itself in relation to them. Wilson continued, that's in that's in the construct of we already offer a fairly broad pricing scheme across our various products. When you think about everything from free to play through our premium products and deluxe editions, our orientation is always to capture the full spectrum of pricing so that we can serve players in the best way possible and offer them the greatest value. We will continue to look at opportunities to deliver great value to our players through various pricing schemes over the course of time, but no dramatic changes yet. EA also confirmed on the call that it hadn't factored in any changes to its existing pricing schemes to its expectations for the current fiscal year earnings guidance. The current fiscal year ends in March of 2026, so don't expect any $80 EA games between now and then. That means games like Madden, EA Sports, FC, and seemingly Battlefield 6 won't be $80, despite one leaker suggesting the contrary. So obviously this is going to be a hot topic, right, in the gaming world, because it just feels like it's almost like a runaway train, right? We're getting $80 games at some point. It just depends how long can this be pushed back. That's kind of the view on this thing. And in some ways, this is something I've been thinking a lot about. Is okay, how what is like the best kind of way for these companies to be able to obviously make money on the game while also not continually making it harder and harder for gamers to spend more and more money. And I've always thought, and by the way, I'm just freeballing this, so put in the comment section below what you think. I've always thought that the best way would be to stop with the every game now, right? Tries to be almost everything. This is, and I brought this up before, but this is one of my big concerns with the gaming industry as a whole, right? You have all of these games that are trying to be released that try to just be everything, right? So every game, let's make it, 40 hours long with kind of repetitive side content, right? And it's like, okay, we don't need all of that, right? Like I always bring up the game RoboCop. RoboCop, to me, it wasn't even a full price release, and it was like I played it probably through 3 times. There was a new game plus mode, and it just knew exactly what it was. It because there was kind of these branching little storylines here and there, I was able to play it through a few times even without the new game plus, and it was kind of branching in the ending. It didn't really change like the necessarily in-game stuff, but the ending version changed a little bit. And I just always kind of bring that up as a model for what we should see in gaming going forward, right? If we want games to be cheaper, right, then cut out the kind of budget that goes into, well, we have to turn this into a microtransaction fest. We have to turn this into something that a player has to log on every day to play. We have to turn this into something that is 100 hours of repetitive content. Or maybe give us a $20 game, give us a $30 game of 10, 15, 20 hours of good content of the game we want, right? I mean, I would prefer to play 2 $30 games that are 15 hours long each that I enjoyed thoroughly, and I'm like, "Oh, man, I can't wait for the another one," than buying another $80 game, which is more than the 2 $30 games, and it's 80 bucks, and it's maybe 50 or 60 hours of gameplay, but it's only because they add in all this content that nobody wants. They make it, this kind of thing where, "Hey, if you log on today, you get this skin." That to me is, in a way, the solution to this whole thing, right? Because the bottom line is the it's good that players are battling back against this, right? And they're stemming the tide of game price increases, right? They are stemming the tide of game price increases because bottom line is, even now, I mean, obviously we have a gaming channel here, and when I'm buying a new game, it's like, holy crap, it's another game that's this expensive, even at 70. It was bad enough at 60, and then 70, it's like, oh, okay, so I buy two games, it's 140 bucks. Okay, 140 bucks. So games like EA, obviously, they're never going to be, you know, $20 releases. But I just think the gaming industry as a whole, it's like if you could make it affordable for gamers by saying, you know what, we're going to make a game for $30. It's a ton of fun, and we're going to put a DLC out. Maybe that's another $20. So you spent $50 on a game that you actually liked instead of a game where they're like, okay, we need to really focus in and make the graphics the best possible they could be, just like top notch. But then the game there's no love in the game. There's no fun in the game. Nobody is like, oh my God, this was like we played games back in the day. Like I'm even just going back to the 360 that looked nowhere near as good as they look now. Okay, nowhere near as good. They didn't play as good. They don't look as good. And yet we had more fun with them. They had less content. They were not, it's crazy. And talking about EA, you look at Madden. How is it that you had Maddens in the early 2000s or the mid 2000s, right? Before 2010, that had franchise mode that was deeper than the games that are released today. How is that the case? Now, look, those Maddens, they did not look as good, right? They didn't look as good. I know a lot of people don't like a lot of the gameplay that's in Madden now, but they did not play as smoothly, right? It wasn't as realistic looking as the new Maddens. And yet, you could go back and play those games because there was so much more love and care and like, okay, we actually want to make a football game that people have fun with. And so now when we talk about an $80 game, these games cost so much money, right? And they need to keep upselling the price because they're focusing on all the wrong things. They're not focusing, like I said, with RoboCop, where the developers come in and they say, we're going to make a RoboCop game for RoboCop fans. We're not going to try to be every type of game all in one with a battle pass and everything. We're just going to try to be RoboCop. And what were they able to do? They were able to be RoboCop, right? They were able to make a game that when I played, I was like, I feel like I'm RoboCop. Had a ton of fun. When I ended the game, I said, man, that was a lot of fun, right? And I played through it again. And then they came out with a new game plus mode. Oh my God. That ended another playthrough to the thing. Then they come out with a DLC. You know what? Have no problem buying the DLC because I got so much good times out of the first game. Played the DLC. I want another DLC to come out and I'm willing to pay for it. But you know what they didn't do is say, you know what? We're going to make a RoboCop game, but it's also going to be this game that you have to log in every day to beat this battle pass and to do this and to do that, and we're also going to add all of these other things in there. Like we're going to make it kind of like GTA and kind of like this. It's like, no, it's a RoboCop game, right? That's all it is. And so I hope this discussion about the $80, it's constantly, I think, everybody kind of talking past each other in the sense of it's like the gamers, and for good reason, are saying, stop upcharging, right? Stop increasing the price. We don't want to have to spend $80 for every new game we get. If I got to buy 5 new games in a year at $80, right? Let's very easily do the math on that. 80 times 5, what is that? 400. If you buy 5 games or yeah, 5 games a year at full price, you're spending $400 on those games. That's insane, right? So that's what the gamers are saying, and they're right. And the companies are saying, whoa, hey, we need to make a profit here. It's like, okay, well, that's your job to figure that one out, right? Stop making games that cost way too much money because you're wasting money on things that the gamers don't actually care about. We just want to play something that we have fun with, right? We don't need it to be 100 hours of, yeah, we're going to put as much filler content in here as possible. The games back in the day, even the Call of Duty games back in the day, right? We were obsessed with Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty 4 had 3 kill streaks, only 3. You couldn't even customize the kill streaks. And we were obsessed with that game. It has nothing to do with adding meaningless content. It has everything to do with putting your love into the game, right? The people are like, we're going to make this great game. And that's what you need to do. So I hope, EA sticks with this. I hope all of these companies stick with it. And I hope gamers keep saying, look, we're not going to stand for it. And we want these companies to make money, but make money by making such a good game that people all over the place are buying it, not by saying, you know what, the existing customer base, we're going to increase the price for you. That's how we're going to make all our money. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.